I'm trying to win the Champions League from Liechtenstein. Except Liechtenstein does not have their own football league. And so, the clubs play in the Swiss leagues. And because of that, we only have one European slot in the early qualifying rounds of the Conference League. Welcome to the second episode of the Vaduz Challenge. We took charge of the biggest club from Liechtenstein, FC Vaduz, who play in the second division of Switzerland. In the first season, we wanted to win promotion, but the league verified our ambitions and we could only finish 6th out of 10 teams. And we know we can do much better than that. The goal in season 2 is very simple. We want to get promoted. But then I looked at my squad planner for this season. Yes, we're lacking players. 7 of them are leaving at the end of their contracts, and all of the free loanees are returning to their parent clubs. And what's worse, we do not have a lot of funds to replace 10 players. 70,000 euros of the transfer budget and 3,000 per week on wages is by far not enough. Thankfully, thanks to a lot of players being released, it quickly made our transfer budget rise to around 600,000. So I resorted to signing free agents and loans. In terms of loans, I brought in 2 wingers. Jason Parente from Lugano on the left and Leart Kabashi from Grasshopper Zurich on the right. Also, what an introduction. On the free agent market, I brought in Simon Lüchinger, a central midfielder who returned to us after just a year in the Austrian side SV Bregenz. The other free agent is Gilles Richard, most recently a centre-back for Stade Lyonnais. I also signed Florian Hoxa as a permanent player from Grasshopper Zurich. And the only player I paid money for is a goalkeeper. Ovidius Schaulis from Virtus Entella for 70,000 euros. Also, in March before the season started, we had a youth intake. One of the more interesting players there was a central midfielder Frank Betts. Was, because he's injured. For how long? 15 months, I'm not even kidding. And with the transfer business covered, it's finally time to begin the season. We're starting with the Conference League qualifiers, which you can partake in thanks to winning the tournament that gives the only European slots from our country, the Liechtenstein Cup. Our first opponents are an Estonian outfit, Nomme Kalju. And they also look like they are the only opponents, because Nomme absolutely demolished us, scoring 4 goals in Estonia and pretty much knocking us out before the second match even began. Oh wait, Gabriele De Donno scored it up in 12 minutes in. Oh wait, Angelo Campos scored a header 30 minutes in. And Marcel Monsberger added a rebound with 5 minutes left. At this point, coming back from a 4-goal deficit would be too good to be true. And it was. Nomme Starasenkov scored a header from the goal line, and it led to the inevitable knockout from Europe. So the full focus is on the league. We want to get promoted this year. Simple as that. And the press gives us a fair chance of doing so, albeit we're not the favorites. We're starting this campaign with a match against Arrow. Fazliu now on the right side. And he makes a double tap in, it looks like. Schwiezer finds Parente in the penalty area, who's been stopped by Matic. Eberhard, Mack, Taylor. Fantastic strike from the middle, from 20 meters out. But I'm worried right now that Zukit is looking forward to making a cross and getting past Belly, and Fazliu. Oh wow, what a miss. This match also saw the, quite honestly unremarkable, debut of Jamie Atangana. I loaned him from Servette in the top division of Switzerland, and I knew he wasn't going to be the only move I made after the league start. I also brought in a free agent on the wing, Yahia Soumare, and I also signed Julian Kouadio from FC Onsi in Ligue 2 for just 27,000 euros. I also had to say goodbye to Mats Hammerich, who wanted to go to a bigger club, and chose Castellon in the second tier of Spain. His replacement? Probably someone even better. Fredrik Carlsen for just 90,000 euros from Ingolstadt. Did it lead to any better results? How do I say this? We only won for the first time in the 5th game of the season against Neuchâtel Xamax, and it started a massive streak. We quickly proceeded to win the next 4 games. During this first round of games, we jumped from 9th to 2nd in the table, and I hope you won't stop there. After a 6-1 demolition over Stade Lazan Ushi, we were neck-o-neck with Arrow and Everton. And it was time for the second game of the season against Arrow. Win and we will take the lead, as we send the long one to Angelo Campos, who heads the ball, gets it forward, off the crossbar, and the goalkeeper got an assist. He's on the left side for Arrow, and he is the one looking for a cross. Right, still going solo. And Luka Mack kicks it into his own net. And straight gets past our right back Kouadio and scores instantly. Straight is absolutely cooking us on the left side. And now he makes an assist, and let's feel it scored the third. We wasted a huge chance to take the lead of the second Swiss league, and it led to a spiral, with more losses, this time to Bellinzona and Rapperswil. It took a comeback from a 2-0 deficit to finally score a point at Neuchâtel Xamax. We finally won against Winterthur after 4 winless games, and then it took us one more draw and they lost to win again, this time against rock bottom Schaffhausen. It didn't stop us from dropping down to 6th place by the winter break. If there are any positives, it's that the gap between us and the leaders Bellinzona is just 9 points. Our transfer window started with Misha Belli going to Lausanne spot, because they paid his release clause. But I also decided not to sign anyone. We did not have any space for new players anyway. And so, let's return to the pitch and maybe finally win that promotion. Our first opponents after the winter break were Stade Lausanne Ushi, who are just behind us. And it ended with a 0-0 snooze fest. How do we even want to get promoted with this result? And with another loss, this time to Arrow, we are 6 points behind 5th place. I don't want to be stuck in this position. I want us to go up. But it looks like yet another season goes to waste. I got some hope with draws against Bellinzona and Rapperswil, as well as a win over Arrow. But then we got thrashed 4-0 by Neuchâtel. We're not getting promoted this year. We won 2 games in the next 4, and with just 8 matches left, we're 6th, far away from any promotion hopes. It was a season that started so well for us. We honestly thought we had a chance of getting promoted, but after the loss to Arrow, it all fell apart. We stupidly lost multiple games, and we never even got a chance to repeat our initial winning streak. At least this time around, we ended the season on a high note, with 3 wins and a draw in the final 4 games. This somehow helped us go up the table, as we overtook Bellinzona and ultimately finished 5th. But this is not the only news we got at the end of this season. Yes, the board thought it is an amazing idea to become semi-professional. This is exactly what we needed for promotion. Yes, fantastic job. Congratulations, the board of FC Vaduz. I obviously requested to revert this abysmal decision, and they told me I'm wasting their time. But let's stay a little bit more positive for a moment. I don't want to complain all the time. Instead, I want to praise 3 players in particular. First is the loanee Jamie Atangana, who scored 17 league goals throughout the season. Second is Stefan Zieler. With 11 goals and 4 assists, he directed our play throughout this campaign. And third is Yahia Sumare, who could play practically anywhere, but was mostly deployed on the wing. From there, I think 8 goals and 6 assists in 24 games is a decent record. And now, let's hope we can still get promoted next year, despite those, quite admittedly, enormous setbacks. I'll be honest with you here. If we don't get promoted this season, I'm afraid we'll be stuck in the 2nd division for eternity. So yes, you guessed it, I want to get promoted. I do not care that we're semi-professional. So with a new contract for us secured, let's do a semi-professional rebuild. I started by letting 4 players go. We also said goodbye to Leon Schafran, who left for Lyon. I also sorted out 3 departures. Gabriele Dedonno went to Artis Brno in Czechia, his brother Jonathan joined Neuchâtel Xamax, and Liridon Berisha joined Kongsvinger in Norway. And the only real options for us this year were loans. First was Leon Miftari, a defensive midfielder from Basel, alongside his teammate, a forward Giacomo Colotto. Then, I brought in Dylan Munro from Zurich on the wing. I also managed to sign the free agent, Lucas Maronier at right back. This rebuild was so hard that I decided that, you know what? I'll just give our 2 youngsters, Rainer Breidenbach and Lukas Gitz, a proper chance in the first team, because it cannot get any worse. As usual, we're starting with the Conference League. This time, we have a real chance of at least going through the first qualifying round, as our opponents there are Fola Esch of Luxembourg. We demolished them 6-0 in the first match, and it was more than enough to go to the second round, despite drawing Fola in the second leg. Vojvodina from Serbia in the second qualifying round was next. However, it's a bit tougher opponent. Yes, they scored from a free kick 14 minutes in, and they tap in 5 minutes later. But that's all they could do in Novi Sad. So when they came to our ground, I told our players about the home advantage and that we can fight back. Sihenie wins the ball back, but Hoxha gets the ball, Mack, Carlsen, the ball goes back to Eberhard, Nikolic. Niepost delivery, and Stanislav Lievich gives Vojvodina the lead here. Hoxha still going on the left wing. Makes a cross, and Munro wins the header. Gets the ball to Munro on the right wing. You can cross it. He makes it. Carlsen has been blocked, but Lukas Gitz has the chance. No, he passed it straight to the opponent. Cuts inside. Still going. Luka Mack tries to win the ball back, but it goes to Velichkovic. It's free. This match is basically what happened during the second season. We've got plenty of chances, We didn't convert them, and ultimately we lost promotion in the second season, and today it's happened again, but in Europe. This time around, we are one of the favorites to win promotion. Not just contenders, the favorites. I swear if we don't make it this time around, I'll just be mad. We kicked off this season against newly promoted SC Champ, and we cannot even win against them. It was a 1-1 draw. How are we meant to win promotion when we play like this? What's worse, our lonely Dylan Munro walked onto the pitch at half-time and straight up got injured. Perfect. If we thought this was the end of the bad news, think again. We only achieved our first win in the 4th matchday against Winterthur, after which losses against Iverdon and Neuchâtel followed. Thankfully, September was a bit different, as we won 3 matches out of 4, only losing out to the leaders Stade Lausanne Ushi. Before the first international break, we climbed our way to 5th. Of course, it's nowhere near what we want, but the positive results from the last month give us hope. And this good run keeps going. We added 3 more wins and a draw, which meant we jumped to 3rd ahead of the match against Iverdon, which we lost because their striker Varol Tassar scored a hat-trick. In a match we had some advantage in. I genuinely hope this was just a small mess up and will return to winning ways against Neuchâtel Xamax. I accidentally started Lucas Gitz instead of our main striker Coloto, but I guess this accident was a good one, because Lucas started this match with an assist. However, as usual, we let the opponent score from an easy cross. But still in the first half, Yahia Soumare hit the ball on the left side. A couple of passes in the middle later, he made an attempt from outside the area and gave us the lead. Neuchâtel had a major advantage on the pitch, but they couldn't score a goal from it. And nearing the end of the match, we won a penalty, which Luka Mak converted, and it led to a massive win for us. We then added a win over Bellinzona, and right before the winter break, it was time to take on Stade Lausanne Ushi, who are right now in 2nd. We're only 3 points behind them, so a win will do us a huge favor in potentially joining a promotion race. Zayler, he gets Campos on a 1v1! And we take the lead over Stade Lausanne Ushi. Bro, what a trick here, what a skill. And Munro makes a pass to Carlsen, who scores the 2nd goal for us. And can do something about it, Munro. Zayler gets to it, makes a pass to Carlsen, who can score the brace, but I think it's offside. This victory gives us hope that we can finally get promoted. We're entering the winter break level on points with our most recent opponents. 4 teams are fighting for promotion, and we're finally one of them. And I also have to credit our new tactic a little bit here, that I started using since the first winning streak in Season 2. Originally, I was using a 4-2-3-1, but constant domination of the midfield from our opponents led to me making a switch to a 4-3-3. These changes work, sometimes, and I won't form a definitive opinion because our form is still way too shaky. This isn't the only thing that changed throughout our stint in Vaduz so far, because in November there was a club takeover. Gianluca Braillard took charge and became the president, but as you might have guessed, it's just a promotion from within. And you also might have guessed, yes, I asked Gianluca to make the club professional again. He said no. He's going to be surprised when he finds out we're promoted, I guess. I made no transfers in the winter, as I believe our squad is good enough for promotion. I mean, it has to be at this point. And so, we got 2 wins in 5 matches. What a way to start the spring. To make the situation even worse, we got 1 point in 4 games. Yup, you may have already guessed it. I don't think we're getting promoted, even though we are still somewhat in the promotion race. But I'm not surprised. Every single time I start to believe in promotion, we just keep messing up. No matter how many team meetings I hold, and no matter how much I make sure to keep our morale high, we just keep losing. We got a total of 16 points. Let me remind you, 16 points in 18 games. No chance we're getting our dream promotion with this, and you're right. We finished 5th. Again. And what's worse, we are awaiting another shakeup of the squad. Some of the players I want to keep have their contracts expiring, and none of them want to extend those deals. Thankfully, there was one piece of good news. The youth intake, which had 3 insane talents. A winger Luka Wachter, a striker Martin Hartmann, and another winger Stefan Walser. Oh, and Marko Krivokapic also has some potential. Another news is that we won the Liechtenstein Cup as usual, but I honestly don't care. I do not care because we failed to get promoted for the 3rd time this season, and we're still semi-professional. Oh man, we need a breakthrough as fast as possible. It cannot come soon enough.